So today I'm going to tell you a story about the epiphany I had in my realization that I love directing. So I would say that I don't have a tendency to be bossy that much in my day-to-day. And it was very interesting to me when I was an actor in New York and I was still learning the distinction of what a producer does versus a director. And this is when I was doing stage acting. And I didn't get that. And I'd always, a lot of the stuff I'd put on, it would be me collaborating with another actor and deciding how we would do it and then putting it up. Maybe it was an evening of scenes, or I was just working, for a company that the director was also the producer and running the house and didn't have time to really work out the specifics of a scene, but he was like, I'm the director and I'll put the scenes together during, Hell Week or whatever. So when I started working with directors in New York and as an actor, and I was used to doing it on my own and making the choices on stage, and then I had a director be like, we're not doing it that way. And I was just like, well, but that's better. And he would just be like, no, it's not, we're doing it my way. And I'm like, but don't I get to choose? And then they'd be like, no, I'm the director. And I'd just be like, well, that's not fair. And so it was funny because you flash forward maybe 4 or 5 years later, and I start directing, and then I start laughing at myself from when I was 21, 20 in New York, acting and telling directors how to put on a show that they were directing. And I thought, wow, because sometimes actors do that to me, and I have compassion for it because I used to do it, but then I sort of start going like, you really should start directing if you really want to have a say in things. So but I get it, because it's partially not knowing what the role of a director is or not knowing what the boundaries are around the acting position. But it's a very strong indication that if you're an actor doing this, you should probably look into directing, because so it felt I love acting, and now that I know, okay, this is when I shut up, even though I can see it how I would do it. But so when I'm acting, that's what I tell myself sometimes on a repeated basis. But usually I don't anymore. It's not even an issue, because it looks very different when you're acting in it versus what it looks like maybe, halfway into the audience. So, and especially with cameras. So you'll be in a position like this and it'll look normal to you, but really it looks all askew from the camera angle that they're getting and the lens that they're using and all of that. So the position of other people and objects in the frame. So it's been, and you learn that from being behind the camera. And it's actually made me a better actor on stage and on camera, knowing that my perception of what's going on might not be the full perception. But the intention of this video was to query actors and say, maybe you should try directing, because it's half of the equation of directing is knowing the acting part, and also knowing that role of director is different than the role of actor, and you may be very self-guided as an actor and maybe even good at directing yourself from within the role. But if you feel that urge to assert the aesthetic of the scene or the movie or the role in a way that's different than the person whose job it is to do it, like the director, then look into directing, because you might enjoy it better. And once I got my directing hat on, I never took it off. Well, that's not true. I have a lot of hats now, but it's my favorite hat, and I really encourage others to try that hat on.